Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. So good to see all of you here. So just adjust this. I hope everyone is going well and had a great week. So, yeah, we're back again, as I said, almost a weekly process now. So, we didn't do it last night only because of this little football game that's played here. And so, we thought we learnt from our lessons from a few years ago that when the little men are kicking a ball around the field, no one really watches YouTube streams at all. So we decided not to do it. So we're back again, and I shall bring in Jason. And before we start, please hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and please share the video when it's all finished, because tonight is a very important topic, and I think everyone in Australia needs to hear and hear, and hopefully one day we should see what has actually happened. So we shall bring Jason in. Good evening, Jason.
What's happening, everyone? Good to be here. I guess we can rejoice somewhat, can't we? Because that bugger in, let's just say Victoria. I want it to Victoria, but it's
WA.
Not. WA, yeah. That Mark McGowan. Apparently, he's tired, guys. He's exhausted. So that's the reason he quit. Probably had nothing to do with the Perth Mint gold debacle with the Chinese or wherever they were selling gold to, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. But anyway, so at least we get one person out. Probably not much is going to change in WA, but I guess, I'm just surprising because generally people don't, retire because apparently they're quote unquote exhausted, especially when you have a majority in Parliament with only, I think, 3, 4, maybe 5 Liberals at absolute best. So I wonder what's caught up with him, because I just can't believe that it's because he's exhausted. Just doesn't wash, unfortunately. Yeah. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments section.
How can he be exhausted when he's a politician? They don't do anything. So it can't be that tiring. You get a big fat paycheck and do bugger all. He's got all his little minions walking around doing everything for him. So how exhausted can he be? What, flying to and from China in meetings or what? Is that what he's exhausted? Who knows? So it definitely stinks of absolute bullshit, the whole thing.
Anyway, it's interesting because, and some people are saying they hope Dan Andrews is next. Yeah, well, that'd be
that
very
guy
nice.
will never let go.
But it's interesting because if he is tired and doesn't want to do the duties of a premier, then if he says what he says is true, then why not just stand down as premier and then just go back to your normal duties per se as, just a member of parliament. But from what I understand from the articles, he's completely getting out of politics. So I don't know, just, when if it waddles like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's most likely a duck. So
yeah, I wonder if he had to take a plea deal because of something or what. Who knows?
Yeah,
should be a bit more transparent. That's for sure. It's taxpayers' money, and he's elected official. Everything should be out on the table.
Yeah, Hebrew Hammer says another Perth Mint debacle ? Last one I heard was a little bit too much silver in the blend and still stamping 99.999%. Well, yeah, and apparently McGowan was, I guess, what would you call it, in control. The minister, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not from WA, so I don't know. But he was in control of the mint apparently at that time. So, and apparently the Chinese, what would you call them? The Chinese overlords were not happy, Hebrew. They were not happy.
Because they were selling all Australia's gold to China, and China sprung it when they tested the gold bars. First up, they found 2 bars that weren't actual gold. They were watered down too much with copper and silver. So, it should be illegal to sell anything to, as far as I'm concerned, we shouldn't be dealing a single thing with China. China needs us to survive. So, we need to start getting manufacturing and jobs back to Australia. But we've talked about this before. The first thing before that happens is need to get rid of the workers' union and all unions, because they'll just get their grubby little hands in there and just destroy everything. Unions are an outdated thing. They need to go.
I reckon something from the 70s and 80s. You'd be a good union man. You'd be a good union man.
I was in the union for construction for years because you have to, or you don't have a job. And I was always fighting with them, punch ups, you name it, everything. Just absolute grubs. They
But you
really
fight with
are.
everyone, including me. So, you know.
Well, they brought some bullshit in when I was there and forced everyone having every second Monday off work to punish the job site because they didn't do what they wanted. And I was losing, because I had my own business, I was losing $12,000 a year just through that. And I had no choice.
Better you than me, I guess. But anyway, so we've had some good news for the week. People always say, we get a bit too negative. So I guess we've got some good news at the moment. And McGowan gone. Obviously, just some other clown's going to take his place. But
and hopefully in a few weeks' time, we got some even better news.
Yeah. Let's hope Dan Andrews is gone next week, followed by Palaszczuk, or Palachuk, as we like to call her. Chook Feed. Hopefully Chook Feed's gone a couple of weeks after that. And then it'll be a great month.
No, she'll never go. She's just like a skid stain and an old man's undies here. She's just stuck here, will never leave.
And they're going to build all those wind towers and, oh, God.
Yeah.
Queensland seems so like common sense sometimes, but when it comes down to certain things, God, they're just, no good.
It'll be like the desalination plant they built here on the Gold Coast, and it never worked, and it rusted out in 2 years, and now it's just a rusting heap of steel costing taxpayers billions. It was, and it never worked.
Yeah, we were talking about Aaron's got to buy a new chainsaw, but Aaron is dead set. He loves his battery operated stuff, mate. I can't get past the sweet smell of two-stroke.
Oh no, I'm sick of
mixing fuel and.
I just had it. Chainsaws, they just never work. They're 54 volt DeWalt. I got hundreds of DeWalt batteries for my business, so I'm never going to be short of that. Just slap a battery in, 54 volt, and they keep up with the petrol ones. I've seen them in use. They're pretty damn good. I got an absolute ton of trees to cut down on my property. So if anyone wants firewood, come over to my place, and if you cut the trees down, you can have all the firewood.
Mate, if I was there, I'd take it myself. But there seems to be a fight between Stihl and Husqvarna. In the lawn stuff, I do have I got mainly Stihl, but I do have 2 Husqvarna items too: a blower, it's actually 3. I actually got a brush cutter, a big backpack blower, and a handheld blower. So not bad.
I just threw one of my Stihls out and got one left because it just never would go. I just cracked it in the bin. It's gone.
Yeah, see, Ben says the right thing. He says he loves his battery operated, but not for chainsaws, whippersnipper, and two-stroke. 100%, Ben. No. Ben's on the money. Give Ben an award.
I've got that 54 volt whippersnipper, and that's a bull terror, better than my big Stihl whippersnipper.
Yeah, looks like Foxy likes Husky, so there's some different. I'm just surprised because there's a bit of a price disparity of a few $100 between the top of the range Stihl and the top of the range Husqvarna. Especially the, I guess people were talking about the fuel-injected 500i from Stihl, or you got the 592 XP, which is the 92cc saw from Husqvarna.
Yep.
And, maintenance is key. Exactly.
Yeah,
true. But, what's everyone been doing? Let us know in the comments. We'll put up a few comments. Have you been hunting, shooting, fishing? Anything happened down your way? It's certainly starting to get a bit chilly. It's warmed up a little bit here in Sydney. To a certain degree. It got cold there for a week or so, but it's not warm, but it's better than it was last week, that's for sure.
Well, I picked up my Desert Eagle, got fixed from Browns Plains Firearms, who's the sponsor of the show tonight. I picked up my Desert Eagle and a whole heap of ammunition, and hopefully tomorrow after work I'm going out for a bit of a shoot down at our pistol club down here. So if anyone's in Hillcrest, come down to the Hillcrest gun club. Indoor pistol range about 4 o'clock. I'll be there shooting my Desert Eagle.
Yeah. Hebrew says he's got a Stihl farm boss, still going strong after 30 years. Simon says, Aaron, do you have a battery whippersnipper? Yes, he does, Simon. He's got a failed DeWalt battery trimmer. Failed.
17-inch cut. It's awesome.
17-inch cut. Like what? Mate, you'd be putting that much string out. You'd be putting that much pressure on the head. The thing would explode.
It's worked fine now on my 2 acres.
Foxy says he's got a Husky that's 30 years old, still carving it up. 8-7, 86 Dawson. I'm an ex-Forester. 2 strokes longer to kill. Skull and Crossbones 65. 18-volt cordless tool battery makes a handy car. 4x4 jumper. It's probably about it, too, Skull and Crossbones, to be honest.
Yeah, Matt Cato's shooting heaps of foxes and heading away pig shooting in the weekend to New South Wales.
Yeah.
Sweet.
The Mexicans are coming up to New South Wales, eh?
Yeah, we'll come pig hunting with you in New South Wales. I'll take time off and come down. And Andrew says picked up a new 7615. Well, I just sold my 7615 actually. Been waiting to take it out for a crack, but it's been raining here for the last few days. Yeah, good guns.
Yeah, see, 38 Prowler says 2 right, can't go past the smell of 2-stroke and noise. Listen, I think the other guys are right, like drills and those sort of things. Battery, I think, is good. But if you're like a business running all day, yeah, especially when it's hot too, I don't know if they're going to last, man, batteries. I mean, plus the expensive batteries. If batteries come down by 75%, I'd probably agree. But then you also, too, you've got to put a secondary battery system in your cars. Doesn't matter if you're using chainsaws or whatever, cutting for wood.
Yep.
Tube user C1 says Hebrew got a wood boss still going strong after 25 years. Nice.
Yeah. Redneck Rumbler got 6 piggies last Saturday. The 4-legged kind.
You haven't been. I wonder if he went to the pub and he went after the 2-legged kind.
Well, here's our invite. We can go pig hunting with Matt down in New South Wales.
Yeah, you can bring his guitar with him, and he can start shredding on the guitar. Maybe get some heavy riffs and some heavy solos. We'll see.
Or a bit of kumbaya around the campfire.
Yeah. I don't know. A bit of kumbaya might end up running away instead of hanging around if he starts doing that. But
yeah.
What else we got here? Matt Cato loaded 100 rounds 243, 87 grain VMAX, doing 100 rounds of 223 tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. Vegas AP says Aaron's got a Desert Eagle. He's got a Deagle, sorry. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. It's probably more wank factor than anything, but still, I reckon they're good to shoot. It's fun though, isn't it? It's fun. That's what shooting's all about anyway, getting in there, a bit of fun. And
it's totally inaccurate. When I take it down tomorrow, I'll do a video, put a video up here on it. I think I've got a review on it. I can't remember. But yeah, it's in 44 mag. Don't let us have the 50 cal one up here. But geez, at $2 or $3 a shot for the 50 AE. Yeah, I'm pretty glad I got the actual 44 mag. But I was looking at a Sig Sauer P322, the new 22 LR pistol, like the 329 mil, but it's the 22 version. So hopefully that'll hit the shelves here pretty soon. And I want to get that. That's for sure.
William said the 12 amp hour Milwaukee batteries we use at work, $300 a piece. They only absolute joke. They only last about 2 years. Well, yeah, that's right. It's like a consumable item. Or when you charge them, they just don't charge up. Like solar panels, you lose a bit of percentage of them each, 6 months or a year, just like a phone, very similar. Like eventually your phone. Remember when we used to be able to replace the phone batteries and all that?
Yeah.
Now they don't. Like, where's my phone? They don't even give us. Like on my Samsung, they don't even give us a port, like to put headphones, even though I use a Bluetooth. But you can't even plug anything into these stupid things. Like once it's gone, battery's gone, just chuck it out.
They've gone like Apple.
Exactly. Remember we used to, you could change the batteries in them, or even some of these ones aren't even putting even SD cards in them anymore, man. So
yeah, bugger that.
No. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought that one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, it's picked up. Go.
Yeah, picked up a PS90s today and a Grazer 1919 match today. I love the Eagles, Jace. It's fun all day. They are. So Vegas, are you in Vegas or what? Well, you must do it to have a PS90.
Here we go. Me and Aaron actually just talking about this one today. So let's keep it. From Paul, what's your thoughts on the Taipan getting around review? It's interesting because I spoke to Demir, who's the owner, he's on my Facebook. He's actually a pretty nice fella. For people that know the show, we used to do the show with Muzz on Straight Shooting. So I was actually out at his party about I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. And that's how I got introduced to Demir from Southern Cross Small Arms, because he's actually a very good friend of Muzz's, actually. So, and we were just talking about it. He said there's some minor things going on with it, but hopefully they'll be rectified soon. But I guess it's hard, isn't it? Those types of guns, to initially when you get your first one. I mean, there's probably going to be teething of certain types of guns and stuff. I think most of the manufacturers have had something similar. The first sort of model that comes out, you try and iron out any issues. I think something was breaking on it. He mentioned, I can't remember, but apparently it was just the strength of the steel, or I can't remember, cold forging or something like that, and it wasn't done right. It's a problem. I don't want to say because I don't really know, so I'm not going to say. So, but
it just sounded like a bit of a whinger, if you ask me, for the whole thing, just whinging about it for the sake of it.
I mean, there's a bunch. I think there's about 5 or 10 of these reviews out there. Some people have got good results. Other people, unfortunately, not so good. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they get just iron out any minor issues and then get and I think we need a good gun at a reasonable price. On the market in Australia. Obviously, Lithgow do some great stuff, obviously. What I do think, because we always try and make these, pumps and these straight pulls and all this sort of stuff. I reckon, I mean, other than Lithgow, why not? Surely there's a market for a good quality, bolt action as well that would compete with those guys as well, and give us at a reasonable price. I think, same, maybe similar price as Lithgow. I think that'd be good, getting more Australian. And you think it's the easiest, sort of model to make with a simple bolt action, barrel, receiver, and bolt. It's not really rocket science. I mean,
especially if you run off the Remington 700 platform and all the accessories will work with it. Can't go wrong, really. But that's the thing. There's so many. It's hard to compete against the big boys, that you can just buy a gun and trick it up. That's the problem. Yeah. But
87, 86, there's a lot of Taipans on gun sales at the moment. Yeah, I mean, like anything, man.
Sorry. I've seen a few videos online, just snippets, and people are loving it. So to me, it just sounds a bit of whinging in that, just for the sake of it. That's what it sounded like to me.
I mean, like anything, I guess you get lemons in every single batch. But that's why I always say I never buy the first of anything. Just make sure, I let them iron out any problems. It's going to happen. I mean, it's, I guess it's a brand new system, I guess, to a certain degree, not really in pump action rifles and that, but, obviously their own design and stuff like that. Guess we'll see how it goes, guys. I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, I'm not sure. There's a lot of other companies that do them as well. But again, much different price point too. Compared to some of the other models that you can get here in Australia. So,
yeah, no, exactly. But no, well, I've got reviews on Southern Cross Firearms gear because I've dealt with Demir before. Very approachable, very nice guy. So I'm actually going to be hitting him up to see if we can do something with the 300 rum, get one of his stocks to drop in the larger magazines. But I've got reviews out there of his gear. I can't fault his gear. So I find it very, very hard to believe, and I call bullshit on a lot of that review because I've used his gear, and I like it, and I think the build quality was exceptional on the stuff that I've used and got here. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, we'll see what happens.
So I find it very hard to believe it really is that bad. But reviews, I wouldn't really take much note in a lot of the reviews. You never know if it's for real or not. And a lot of YouTubers have been sprung in their reviews about inflating things. So I just wouldn't. Now I watch multiple reviews whenever I look at buying stuff, especially guns. So that's probably your best bet. But I did see the new Seiko 90 yesterday. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty damn nice.
Yeah. What about listen, this is a funny one. I had one of those. I think they changed their name to Templeton now, but it was the Dickinson T1000. Aaron remembers this because he had one and had trouble getting the end nut off it actually. But they make the new thumb release one. Has anyone got one? What do you guys think? Because I think it's either the Bushmeister or the Buckmeister, whatever it's called.
Buckmeister,
if you shoot from here, right, your release button is on the foregrip. So it's like bang, 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 release. What's it like if anyone's got that Templeton T1000, which I think is formerly Dickinson? So when you go shoot, you got the button on the top of the receiver. Let me know if anyone's got one. Is it easy to shoot? Is it cumbersome? Have you got to move your hand? I'm thinking about getting one. I don't know yet.
Yeah, well, here's Andrew. I have a Templeton T2000, one of the best shotguns I own.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this whole thing's stupid, isn't it? Because, like, basically it's a gas gun that just locks the bolt back and then you just press the button to drop it. Like, there's literally one more, action, which is back and then automatically forward. You know what I mean? Like, why if I lock it back, I can release it? I mean, how stupid is that, eh?
Well, I held the Sulon Arms one, the M4 sort of clone with the lever release. It's underneath the trigger guard. So bang, 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 bang. It would be better if it was up the front, but it was smooth, real smooth. Gary had one of those down at Brown's Place.
I'm just wondering, because when you do like the double shot, it's like, because the only thing I didn't like with it performed flawlessly, that Dickinson, but the problem was I went to sell it because I wanted to buy this one. I couldn't get nothing for it. I mean, I barely even, it was brand new condition. They obviously don't even bring those straight pull Dickinsons in anymore. Mate, I got about $385 from a $1,200 gun in immaculate condition. I couldn't get any more than that. Nobody wanted it because they got these new ones out now. So it's kind of when you buy these bloody Turkish bloody shotguns, you can't notoriously get much back from, even though my one was in immaculate condition. So I'm more just wondering whether the two actions from one hand, trigger, pull, trigger, or thumb really, what it's like. I want to try one.
Yeah. Well, like my Sulon Arms, which is just a pure straight pull, it is such a smooth gun, never missed a beat. I can't get anything for that now because they got the lever release version of it out. They're absolutely worthless. It's not even worth selling, but they are good.
Andrew's saying it's good. I wonder how much. What are they worth now these days? Anyway, Andrew, what did you pay?
1,500.
Are
I
they?
it yesterday? Yeah.
Oh, look, I mean, a bit expensive for Turkish stuff, but
we're Australia. A, everything's expensive, and B, what else are you going to do if you want one?
Yeah, but next time they'll bring out something else. Right, and then I'll be stuck with this bloody thing.
I can guarantee there's only one other thing. The next thing up is a semi-auto, and they ain't giving us anything back.
Would be nice. Sure. I mean, what's the point? So it locks back instead of just back and forth. So instead of having a hook or whatever it latches onto to keep it back, like it's a bit silly, isn't it? A bit silly.
Yeah. I know the Sulon Arms is made, so if you tamper with it to make it go forward, it'll jam up. And then you got to send it back to them and they'll fix it. But they also report you to the police for tampering with the gun.
Yeah, right.
That was part of the deal.
T2000 button release, 28-inch, 12 gauge. That's one of the shops now. It's saying 1280 here, but I don't know. They might have gone up since then.
Yeah. Well, the Bushmaster, whatever, the
Bushmaster, they're about 1,500.
Yeah, they're about 1,500. You'd say the Sulon Arms.
Or is it the Buckmaster? One of them is more expensive than the other one.
Yeah. About 15, 16. So the Sulon one.
All right. If Andrew steers me wrong and I buy one, well, Andrew will have to buy it off me if I don't like it. He'll have two. Because when I bought the original straight pull, when you shoot, it would have been better to get the left-handed version. So you shoot, then go bang with your left hand. I used to go bang, and then you'd have to pull forward. So then your arm's moving forward. So you're like doing this bang, you're doing this, trying to pull it back, you know what I mean? And then you'd lose your sight picture. So it was just not very good. It was okay. Listen, it was good. Pigs and all that, I think, absolutely perfect. I always used to say that in your reviews or when we were at Gary at Browns Plains Firearms, be a perfect scrub gun, perfect back of the quad gun, motorbike gun, quad gun, ATV, perfect.
Well, I've still got that big double barrel tactical thing, straight pull.
Wow. Andrew said Buckmaster cost me $22.50. Templeton blows it out of the water.
Really?
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, so that's interesting. Anyway, we'll probably get up topic. We've got half an hour to talk about our topic. But yeah, thanks for the information.
Yeah.
Always good to talk about different types of firearms, what's out there. I was just disappointed. I bought that bloody Dickinson straight pull for, I don't know what they were at the time, $1,150, $1,100. Get bloody $385 for the goddamn stupid thing. So, I just don't make that mistake. I mean, I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. I already had it. Didn't really feel the money gone or anything. But, now if I wanted to, I've got a little account that I put that sort of money in. So now, I mean, I've got to add another $1,000 or $900 to get the other one. So
everyone got gardening tools out of their system now. We'll talk about the hand-on matter.
Well, mate, hey, every man has a chainsaw. You just said you were buying one. You love chainsaws, dude. Even I like them, man. Just getting your own wood eventually. I think that's pretty awesome, man. Heating your house, wood fire. That's my dream, man. Wood fire, lawnmower, a bit of land to shoot on, mate. And a tractor. If you can get that, mate, living life. I tell you, you're living large.
Yeah, I'm saving up for my next toy, and that'll do me. Once I got that, I'm done.
1 sec. They're talking about roll call, so let's do that. Participants. All right. Oh, it's only, I don't know why it's only showing one. That's weird. Hang on. Well, that's okay. Sorry. It's populating now, guys. Sorry. It's taking its time to populate. Why is it so slow? Sorry, guys. Give me a second. It's not really showing everyone, guys. I'm only showing about 10, so we'll start with that. 8786 Dawson. Andrew Markle, Aaron Johnson, Badger James, Blunt Machete, Carbon Spider, Colin Penfold. Colin's a long-time regular. Foxy86, Matt Outdoor Adventures, Matt Rumsey, Matt Cato. Well, Matt's not on my list, but I know he's there, so I'm reading his name out. Phantom HD, Pig Hunter, Redneck Rumbler, Sean White, Southern Star Review, a.k.a. Steve, top bloke. Check out his channel. Give him a subscribe. I know he likes his chainsaws too, old Steve, and his mate Shane, so... Chib user C1, William, Extreme Survival. I'm just scrolling back up. Sorry, guys, that's all I've got on the YouTube participants list. So we'll go to Aaron Johnson. Not sure if I read Aaron out. I'll go back through the list just a little bit. Badger James, if I read yours out, well, you get a second shout out. William, not sure if I read it. Foxy86, you get a second one if I've already read it out. Who else we got here? Just scrolling up, guys. 38 Prowler. 38 Prowlers in the room with us. Vegas AB. I'm not sure if I read Vegas, but you get us. Paul J. Neil H. Carbon Spider. I think I already read his. Simon Begg. We already brought up one of his comments. Who else? Hebrew Hammer Arms Company. He wasn't showing up in the list, but he's here. Navinator. Navinator's in the chat if you're still here. Skull and Crossbones 65. Damien Milk. I wonder if that's his real last name. Damien, you got any milk for us? Let us know.
You sound sick, like a pervert.
Aaron always has to go bad. Ben Wicklesma. Is it Wickelsma or Wicklesma? Again, I'm sorry. I know you mentioned it last week or the week before, and I've got it wrong probably yet again. Phil Westling. Christian Mango. Oh, no, Magno. Sorry. I was about to ask if he's got any mangoes, but it's Magno. So he wouldn't have any mangoes, unfortunately. I do like mangoes. There he is. He's back again. Oh, Corky Bees. Corky Bees is back. Matt Rumsey. I think I've already read his. Badger James already read it, I think. Paul Stamios. Sorry if I've read it wrong, Paul. Utah Woodwood. I wonder if he cuts wood. Utah. That's really... Pepper Pigs, 86. D40, James LR. Blunt Machete. Not sure I read his name out. Anyway, that's pretty much about it, I think, guys. You probably ready to take away. And Neil, of course, Neil Constantinow as well. Yep. Neil's in the chat as well. So welcome, Neil. And Grow Your Veg. Grow Your Veg he had one of the third comments, but man, there's so many spelling mistakes, Veg, mate. I barely even know what you're saying there, man. I can't fathom what your text was there, mate.
Well, it is anyway. Thirsty Thursday. Could be having a few beers.
He might have a few ciders, few rums, few vodkas, whatever. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay, so this has been major news here in Australia. Of course, everyone's heard about this. The killing of a 95-year-old grandmother down New South Wales, tasered by a thug cop, by the sounds of it. triple his size. So we'll show photos of him soon, of the lady's size. So what happened was, basically, we'll bring this article up. Okay. I think that would be it. Okay. So here we go. Charges laid against police officer accused of tasering 95-year-old Claire Nowland. But here's the thing. This happened. All these articles came out over a week ago. She died just after last week's live stream and radio silence. There's been, and this lady, the police commissioner, was saying that the charges might be upgraded later on, but the poor lady's dead now, and nothing has been said in the paper for the last week about this at all. So no charges have been upgraded. I can't find it anywhere. And the webcam, the cam footage from the police officer has not been released at all. So that's a bit sus if you ask me, but we will get into that. So, New South Wales police officer who was accused of tasering a 95-year-old woman at a Cooma Aged Care Centre has been charged. Senior Constable Kristen White, 33, has been charged with reckless causing grievously bodily harm, assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and common assault. So now it should be manslaughter, if you ask me, or really, I think it should be murder myself, because he knew there was a high chance something really bad would happen and probably die at a 95-year-old being tasered, and he went and did it anyway. So in my view, I think he should be done for at least maximum of manslaughter, which is 25 years. But
You mean minimum?
Minimum. Yeah, that's the maximum you can get, though, 25 years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. The officer of 12 years experienced was with his partner when they called to the aged care in Cooma in the state south. Miss Nowland, who was found carrying a serrated knife. You said, Jason, that it wasn't a real knife, was it? It's like a rubbery thing they give dementia patients, basically a glorified butter knife. And who found carrying a serrated knife, fell and fractured her skull after she was tasered. Poor lady. Disgusting. New South Wales Police Senior Constable White is expected to appear in Cooma Court on July 5. So we've got about another 4 weeks before this comes to light. We will talk about this again because I think this is really important article. So we will follow this one. He remains suspended from duty with pay. How fucked is that? With pay. While investigations into the critical incident continue. Police Commissioner Karen Webb, who was that lady you just saw, told media a short time ago that police have commenced legal action against the officer. There's little more than I can say, of course, and say other than that Nowland family have now been informed. And this goes on about that. She has not watched the footage, apparently, at all.
I bet she has, though. She has.
Yeah. And
she said
so she would have.
She said she hasn't seen it, but I mean, if you're the police commissioner and you haven't seen that footage, you probably should be sacked immediately. I mean, let's be honest here. She goes, I heard it, but I didn't see it. I'm like, what, did you have your eyes closed or something? The biggest part, which is disappointment about that Karen Webb, is when if you watch the videos, man, it's just like cold. You know, answering a few questions. None of the media really asking any hard questions. Some asked some interesting questions, like, which was the main one. I mean, were the taxpaying public? We pay for law enforcement. Why on earth are you concealing, the body cam footage from the public? Secondarily to that, I just found an article before too, advising police are quietly getting rid of their tasers, which have inbuilt cameras, as great grandma dies, poor bugger, after a cop blasted her for 50,000 volts. That's the dailymail.co.uk. I mean, talk about probably an interesting headline, but apparently they're phasing out. Where is it? The current taser is the X26P used by the force throughout the force, which has an integrated camera, which automatically activated when the weapon is used. But police have confirmed this week those tasers have been discontinued, and the new Taser 7 is now being rolled out to officers across the state. It has included in that unit, it doesn't have an inbuilt camera. So, That's very interesting. Taser 7s can be integrated with the body-worn vision, and New South Wales PF is working with companies to develop a holster activation device, which will ensure the body-worn video turns on when the taser is drawn. And we'll see how long they should be implementing that before they go live with these new tasers, I would think. But I mean, stranger things have happened with this sort of stuff. But
100%. So now here's another one. I got two more things, and it gets worse, Jason. It gets a lot worse. Let's put this into context. A 95-year-old walking frame, 45 kg, comes up against this chunk of human garbage here. Big fat dopey prick here. Basically, this thing is, he'll be well over 100 kg in weight. And there he is. Look at this little porky pig here. The one felt threatened from a 95-year-old lady in a walking frame. Well, that says it all. Guilty right there. End of story. Either what people said in the comment, pussy of the year. Absolute disgrace. Doing it. It is disgusting. It really is. Well, he could have just gone up and got this this knife and slapped it out of her hand, basically, if he had any form of balls. Or he could have walked out of her room and shut the door and let her calm down. That's simple. But no, so put this into context because we're about to hear some audio next. So this is
the interesting part is, I don't disagree with that, but the interesting part here, I think, is that, listen, I'm not saying this has happened, right? A simple release of the body-worn video would clearly show exactly what happened. So the fact that they're hiding it, probably they're saying they're going to use the term, well, it's probably going to go to court, so we don't want to tarnish the court case or anything. They haven't said that, but that's probably what they would say, which may or may not have any merit. But because there's been such public outrage about this issue, why wouldn't you, if you've got nothing to hide, just release the footage, and that way you can let things lie as they are if they've done the right thing. Doesn't matter. Listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I know probably me and Aaron differ on probably this one a little bit. I'm not saying it has happened or anything like that because we don't know. We haven't seen the footage. But at the end of the day, if she was lunging at an officer trying to stab him with it, listen, doesn't matter how old you are, you can't be doing things like that, man. You just can't be doing things like that, right? So, but again, like I said,
what do you call lunging?
She's got it up and he's within striking distance, and she's going to be,
What about if she? Well, we'll play the audio. Let's play the audio, and then we'll talk about this because
what's the audio of first? What's the audio of?
From a podcast I found about half an hour ago. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Go. So
again, I just to clarify that too, I'm not saying that, like we don't know. I'm saying if they were doing that, right? But again, the body-worn camera would do that. If we don't see that on camera, well, then he's obviously going to be in a lot of shit. That's for sure, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, here's a little snippet here. Also, it says police officer who allegedly tasered 95-year-old grandmother Claire Nowlin reportedly said 3 words before firing: "No, bugger it." There you go. No, totally. Yeah. That says it all. No, bugger it. So he might have been.
What does that mean? Is that her?
He could have been told, "Don't do it. Don't do it." To the partner, could have been saying, "Stop, don't do it," and he's just, bugger it, do it anyway. He will now face court and land.
Yeah, but hang on 1 second. But no, hang on. The Victorian police allegedly tased 95-year-old Claire Nowlin reportedly said 3 words. Oh, so he. Okay, sorry, I got that wrong. I'm thinking, did he say that or she said that?
No, he said that before firing. Reportedly said 3 words before firing. No, bugger it. So was he being told by his partner, "Stop, don't do it"? Who probably, obviously, the partner would have had more common sense than him, naturally, and was saying him, "Stop, don't do it," and he just said, "No, bugger it." This is all just theory right now because no one's getting told anything. That's one way you could see it, I guess. But the biggest question is how the police ended up confronting an elderly person in aged care who was distressed and in need of help. Yeah, well, where was all the doctors and everything? They should have been there. They've had training in this as well. before they call a cop on an elderly lady with dementia. So we'll listen to this audio. This is just a little snippet from this. It was only a few seconds long. I've just taken a little part. I heard that sounded quite interesting. So let's listen to this. Oh, hang on. I just got to try and figure out how to bring up the. Hang on, guys. I'm just going to have to go back. If you want to say something, Jason, do. I'm just going to share this audio.
I'll just read some comments. I mean, like I said, it's simple just to put the body cam footage out, because there's been such outrage badly that you think at this point, if the lady had have done something wrong, or it's as they was she lunging at him with the thing? Well, a simple releasing of the body cam would be able to prove that did or did not happen straight away. So the fact that they've said no, and the part that probably irks me the most is that, like, we pay for law enforcement. So why on earth are we allowing the government to tell us what we can and can't see? I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it, that these people are unfortunately a law unto themselves. It's just terrible.
Yep, exactly. So I've got the audio working. Here we go. Listen to this one. Hopefully it's loud enough, guys. I'll just double check here.
No, click it. You got to hit it. You just muted it.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
2 days. Now, Peter Cotter, the New South Wales Assistant Commissioner, gave a press conference shortly after where he gave more details.
Can you say if she was actually engaging in a threat at the time that she was tasered?
At the time she was tasered, she was approaching police, but it is fair to say at a slow pace. She had a walking frame, but she had a knife. I can't take it any further as to what was going through anyone's mind.
And in the days since, the New South Wales Police Commissioner, Karen Webb, has claimed the reason for omitting the taser was that extended members of Nolan's family hadn't been contacted yet.
Yes, so put that in context. I was listening before. They said the lady had been injured or something, but hadn't released the fact that she was actually tasered. They waited a day for that. The family was informed of that first. So she was lunging at him at a very slow pace.
Walking. He said walking.
Yeah.
Not lunging, walking.
Yeah, at a very slow pace. But she had a knife. Yeah, well, why didn't you just shut the door or go and take it out of her hand? Really.
But that's what I mean. See, you see someone walking at you with a knife and you think, holy shit, what do you do? But that's what, again, you have to see the context of the video to see what's going on.
Yeah, you would say that if it was someone young, of sound mind, bigger than you and a threat to you, but a 45 kg-year-old lady with a walking frame, come on, no matter what, that is not acceptable behaviour by a police officer. That is not what any normal, moral human being would do, would they? They wouldn't do that. That is not a threat. You can't say that she was a threat. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to realise that she would have been a threat to that police officer who's like 2-3 times the size of the poor frail lady. So, I think it goes to court. I don't think it's going to be all roses for him. He's going to get off. Plus, it's been such public display of disgust with the police force.
Yeah, but if it's assault occasioning bodily harm, it's not a manslaughter charge. Manslaughter,
they said they wouldn't
get they may do that. They may not too. You know what I mean?
Hope they do. They should.
But if they don't, I mean, those charges probably it might be a jail term, but it'll be a very short one. If not, he already gets time served most likely. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just guessing. A manslaughter charge, someone hits someone in their car and kills someone, they might get 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how bad it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a lot worse than that. This is like he would have been thinking about what he's about to do. Not an accident. He was thinking, and then he said, bugger it. So he thought, and he knew full well what he was about to do, like premeditated, basically. He was thinking about what he was about to do. And when he said, bugger it, he obviously knew there was danger. To me, that sounded like there was dangers. I'm no lawyer or anything, but
Well, that's what I mean.
the
It's
way I
easy
interpret it.
because again, you think if he's walking towards her, she's 95. You think she'd be shuffling. Would she? If she's on the as Phil
Right.
said too, if she's on a walking frame, if she, obviously she's probably got both hands on the walking frame. Was the hands on the walking frame, and then the knife was against the walking frame, and she's holding it and the knife at the same time? Did she have one hand on the walking frame and she's like this? Again, this would just stop. I mean, obviously, again, a 95. Hebrew said 93. She was 95. But, I mean, if she was obviously moving very, very slowly, unless she was a fast-moving 95-year-old, I mean, there's not much you can really justify here, can you? You can't really justify any of this.
Well, it's hearsay right now whether she had her hands up with a knife, isn't it? Because we can't
That's
see
what I
the
said.
footage.
Just release the footage. I mean, we pay for the footage. We pay for the body cams. We pay for their everything. We pay for their pensions. We pay for their their wages. We pay for police buildings. We pay for insurances. We pay for stationery. We pay their taxes. They pay everything. So I don't understand why on earth someone can sit there, the police commissioner, Karen Webb, and say, "Oh, we're just not going to release it." Like, and we just accept it, man. It's just like there should be, hell to pay for this, man. Like, say, nah, you're not going to be holding on to that footage, man. But again, if they had the footage, see, they would release it if it suited their agenda. And you can even hear the way that guy's talking, man. He knows his beat. He doesn't want to say any more than that because he doesn't want to jeopardize the case or whatever the case may be.
I think he was trying to cover for the police force. He's sort of trying to figure out, what can I say that doesn't sound too bad, to make us look like complete idiots.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. We should be ringing up the police minister's office and asking why they're not releasing the footage. Taxpayers pay for this footage. Why on earth are you concealing it from the general public? It's unacceptable, man. This is, again, and all it does is make them look even worse, trying to conceal the footage, man. And people that I know that love the cops, I'm not a big fan. They love the cops. Even they're saying, why haven't they released it? That even the general public that love them and love to lick their boots, even they're not happy with the situation about releasing this stuff. So, interesting.
This is good. Giant secrets. If anyone else attacked her and then she died, what would have happened? We would be sitting right now waiting for a court case. And this guy is off with pay. We're still paying this guy. Man, he could be watching this live stream right now. Who knows?
Again, it's supposed to be, you're dealing with sometimes bad people, but this is what I keep saying. Sometimes they just start, it becomes blurry after 12 years. They just treat, they're always looking for a crime, man. The average general public that's not doing anything wrong becomes the sites for these people to go after for no reason, often sometimes escalating situations. Just go on the internet and type in like police audit videos or whatever. You see it all the time. Or even with people just not doing it, it's not even an audit video, it's just normal people, and you get the body cam and you think, why on earth were you escalating a situation? Your role is community service to de-escalate. Like, this is just common sense stuff to me. You need cool heads in these situations, not people that are ready to start busting heads at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, well, I've seen things online and that people making comments they know of this police officer and and don't have favourable views of him. So maybe I'd like to know whether he's been in trouble before, being heavy-handed. That'd be interesting to know, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just the whole thing, just a sad state of affairs, man. But this is what happens. They just get so, crazy to do and think whatever they want to think and whatever they can do, during the pandemic and all that, busting people's heads, choking them, over things like, masks and so forth. And then again, one just starts doing something wrong. I mean, like I said, your homeland of New Zealand, UK, the public just will not accept the police carrying firearms under any circumstances unless you're a specific unit, Yeah. So again, my mates, my Brendan, who used to live with me, he goes, mate, like he hasn't been in New Zealand probably for 4 or 5 years now, but he goes, but the general appetite for police carrying guns is just a no-no. The public just won't accept it. So, again, why they want to disarm us? Why they want to disarm us yet continually carry more guns? Yep. And arm themselves to the teeth with semi-automatic weapons. Yeah, apparently guns are bad. Oh, they're safe in our hands. Well, not really. They just killed a 95-year-old lady. So,
yeah, Yeah,
Sad,
exactly.
man.
So it's time they ban tasers outright, I think.
Yeah.
They should, oh, hang on.
Salty Skippy's late.
Right.
Salty Skippy just said he's here. Salty Skippy, mate. We'll need a note from your mother, mate. Just say why you're late, mate. So just make sure you bring that next week, Salty. All right, mate.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, why do you think they're not releasing the footage? I think it's because it looks very bad. That's what I think. Because I guarantee with this much bad publicity, if it suited their agenda and it showed her lunging in and about to stab the guy, I'm sure they would have released that straight away, man. I tell you, because they wouldn't want to look bad, so they would have released it. It just doesn't serve them to release it because it probably doesn't look good. And you know what? We should be calling up their office and demanding answers about what the police commissioner, why aren't you releasing this footage? We pay for it. Why are you hiding this footage from taxpayers? And they go, oh, send us an email and we'll write back to you. And it'll be some bull crap about not wanting to, oh, well, there's a legal case and, blah, blah, blah. And are we ever going to see it?
Well, that's the sole reason why it looks bad for them. Definitely. And it was you who said, Jason, you read that it wasn't really a proper knife, was it? It was more of a rubber
That's
knife.
what they said in one of the articles. But again, no one really knows. It's a lot of people speculate. They're going, oh, well, don't speculate, they're saying, about what happened. Well, how about releasing the footage so we don't have to speculate? That'd be nice too. This is all just simple stuff to me. Again, we're taxpayers. Why can't we see the footage? It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And Tracer just said it too. Late night, Sky. And you said you have ordered new tasers without cameras. Yeah, exactly. I just read that article just a little bit earlier.
Yep.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty sad, man. The whole thing.
Evan,
really.
I think Evan's a new. I haven't seen him on here before. Welcome, Evan. If I haven't seen you here, the copper's a disgrace. He should be used a broomstick to knock the knife out of her hand, or even a blanket over her head, and she would have dropped the knife. Exactly. Someone slowly in a walking frame, walking to you, lunging to someone well over 100 kg. Exactly. Just could have thrown a blanket on her, hit her with a pillow, for God's sake. Someone could have gone around behind her and just grabbed her arm. There's not going to be much resistance there. Just grab the wrist. I'm pretty sure that would be a very simple thing to do. Worst case, you probably would have had a bruised arm or maybe even a broken wrist, but it's a lot better than being killed.
Yeah, because and Tube User sort of said it here. This guy's never had a hard arrest. This was his chance to prove his worth to his masters. But sometimes they do that. Some people do. They're waiting for this confrontation so they can throw and beat someone to the ground. You'd be surprised, man, what people are like, man. They revel in the day that they have some action on the job. It's just a sad state of affairs, man. It really is. Now some lady's dead. I wonder what will happen. I wonder what will happen. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't get upgraded, man, I wouldn't expect a long sentence. He's a police, so he'll be treated differently than the general public. They'll be saying how good his 12 years of service was. He's a fantastic human. It needs to be taken into consideration, his service to the community. But like I said, imagine all the issues that were happening.
Oh, sorry.
Go.
Comes down to those jurors, though. You pull on the heartstrings of the jurors. If it's a jury case, they see a 95-year-old. They see their grandmother there.
Yeah, no, but it'll only be a maximum. It'll only be a maximum sentence for the. I mean, I don't know the severity of those charges, Grievous, but it's obviously lower than man's. It's assault occasioning of actual bodily harm. I mean, it's not manslaughter. So manslaughter is probably 4 to 5 years. So what will this be? 24 months, 12 months. He's not in prison now, so I mean, it's not going to be time served, is it? So
no.
It's going to be a cock up. It's going to be a cock up.
Well, there's two things I want to say. If they release the footage, then we're going to know why he said bugger it. So if we release the footage, they release the footage, we're going to know why he said bugger it, with someone in his ear saying stop. And then if they don't upgrade the charges, how bad is that going to look for the police? When she said, they might upgrade to manslaughter. Okay, she's dead now. How about upgrading? Why aren't you doing it?
And exactly, and often one of the core things, and someone said it here, And Vegas said it correctly. Good cops don't expose bad cops. And that's true too, because you see in a lot of these videos, not just the audit videos, but where people have been attacked by the police literally for doing nothing. This is the interesting part. Me and Aaron were talking about this yesterday. Sometimes it's funny you watch these videos because they've just thrown someone on the ground, busted their face up because someone goes, what the hell's going on? Why am I being arrested? What did I do? They've totally got the wrong person, right? And all of a sudden they throw the guy on the ground. Someone comes past or a witness and goes, oh, no, that's not the guy. And then instead of apologizing and getting the guy or the girl up off the ground and severely apologizing, knowing full well they're going to be in the poo, they double down on their stupidity and, again, try and come up with charges for the guy they just threw on the ground who is completely innocent. It's scary stuff, man. It really is. Like you think, what'd the guy do? The guy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Completely innocent party. Witnesses testified. It's not that person. And instead of apologizing and groveling not to be sued, they double down, man, and start trying to charge. Well, you didn't follow directions, you didn't, you did this, you're hindering an investigation. And it's just amazing, man. It's amazing, man. You watch this stuff, you think, this cannot be real, man. This cannot be real. And then people say, well, these are videos few and far between. No, they're not. There's literally YouTube, Audit the Audit, Lackluster, James Freeman. That's the one thing at the top of my head, man. There's so many, and they're content every second day of these videos, man. You think, how many of these videos are there? Like with this wrongdoing. I just blows my mind, man. It blows my mind. It does. But anyway,
yeah, it's something that Jason and me talked about. Hebrew Hammer Arms Code. He would have been yelling at the 95-year-old dementia patient who probably had no idea and what he was saying, instead of quietly and calmly talking to her. Got frustrated and killed her. Exactly. I watched my grandfather die of dementia, and it's horrible. And they get into a fluster, and if people yell at them because they're impatient, they get worked up, they get confused, upset. One of the worst things they could do. And if he was doing that, he would have escalated. He would have escalated that if that was happening.
Colin said, I think they don't release the footage. Police know they'll be sued for multi-million. Mate, I think they're already going to get legal representation anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if they've already offered them money already. It wouldn't surprise me. But I'm sure someone's going to take on that case. And you know what? They'll settle for a undisclosed amount. With a clause in there that says you can't talk about it because they'll want to conceal it again. This happens in all negotiations with the police. It happens in Victoria. It happened to RV Yemeni security guard in Victoria. They paid him a six-figure payout when he was arrested during, the last couple of years during the what. But they have to sign disclosure agreements that they're not going to talk about it. Where a lot of these people have actually got to start going to court, man, and putting these things on record, man. Listen, I know it makes sense to get a payout and to accept the payout and sign a disclosure agreement, but sometimes you need to do what's in. So this stops happening to other people, man. Instead of these things being swept under the rug with money, and our money, I might add, it's our money. It's just terrible. The whole thing needs a complete overhaul, man. Honestly, they need to go through this place. And they all get retrained and said, mate, if you act up, you're going to be out shit can and you're going to be gone. Simple as that.
Aaron Johnson brings a good one up. But what about that lady? We've all saw the footage at the Freedom Rally. The young cop who pushed the 75-year-old lady to the ground, point blank, a whole can of mace in her face. And she was peaceful. No threat. Little 75-year-old lady, a young cop did that. Google it, guys. You can see it. It's quite disgusting.
Ben said, "Will the family sue the police?" Is that possible? Yeah, I'd presume so.
Yeah,
it'll be a civil case against the police, I presume. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can sue the actual police officer as well, and the New South Wales government.
Yeah, have I seen the English auditors? Yeah, some of them are pretty good, man. Auditing Britain, he's pretty funny. I was telling Aaron the other day, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, Mercado. Dan will give him a job. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Anyway, that's probably it. Let us, guys, you know what you think or if you want to read a couple more before we go. Simon says, we pay the payouts. That's exactly right. Suppression orders, then go play for the, exactly. Always a suppression order in place. Because most people just look at the money and they say, well, I'm never going to get I get it. The allure of money probably sometimes, like that guy. Remember, we were talking about that guy that was copping a gobby in that club with his girlfriend. They shot him in the guts and then shot his missus in the leg. He got like $4.5 million, one of the biggest payouts in history. But it's funny how the payouts are different here. I saw one the other week where they were just harassing a couple of African American ladies for no reason whatsoever. They just got arrested and put in a van, and they got $8.5 million, man. $2,500,000 for one of them, and $2,750,000 for the other two, equating to about $8.5 million. Some guy gets shot in the guts, which probably should have died, and you only get $4.5 million. So
he's had 17 operations to put his guts back together.
Yeah, and these people just got arrested and put in the back of a vehicle. Nothing happened to them, and it was over double that amount in the US. So just goes to show how different it is in Australia, man. And, Phil says New South Wales government has deep pockets. Yeah.
Also, what it should be, a certain portion of the payouts should be, say, like 50% of any payout settlement should be fitted by the officer who did the crime against the civilian. Now, how quickly if they know they're going to have to pay out of their own pocket, how quick their attitudes will change.
And that's a good thing about America. Several states have have removed qualified immunity for the law enforcement. So, if you do something wrong, you just be held personally liable. So, what it gives just that little bit of concern that, well, if I do something wrong, I'm going to be paying for it with my retirement money. So, it just gives them a reason just to maybe back off a little bit, assess the situation and see what, and perhaps not, run into it like this guy, possibly, allegedly. With this old lady, just willing to do whatever because I can get away with it, But again, this would all be sorted if we just seen that footage. It would all be sorted.
Yeah, exactly. Not hard at all.
And Aaron Johnson, one last thing. Aaron Johnson said the police unions need to be disbanded too.
100%.
Well, I wonder if they're defending the guy's actions or they've probably gone to ground going on. But this is what they'll do.
Or they're paying for it.
Yeah, I know, but they'll just scapegoat this guy like they did in America with that Derek Chauvin with that what was his name? What was the guy who stood on his neck and all that? What was his name? George Floyd. Yeah. Oh, he's an anomaly. So they just throw the book at that guy, chuck him in prison. He's the problem. You know what I mean? So just completely dump their own employees. And say, well, we're not like that. It's just one rogue person. But you know what? It's systemic, man. It's systemic in regards to the stuff they get up to, man. We saw it during the pandemic, guys. You saw all the videos on the internet. You saw what's going on. This is bad. Anyway, we're going to finish up now. I've got to get moving.
Yep, right. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next week or two. So have a very nice week, safe week. Hope you get out shooting and enjoy yourself. So next time we should be back on a Wednesday again, and we shall see you very soon. Thank you for joining us and enjoy your time in between shows. Catch you later.